When I first mentioned the stimulation of the cervix, she sort of just paused the meeting and was like, why would you ever do that?
I'm Aaron Michael, and this is Cervical Tales, Stories of the Everyday Woman.
Some years ago, I'm working on a project with a world-class OB-GYN. This person performs surgeries that do miracles for female sexual function that also consider and factor in pleasure. I mean, incredible professional. Such a blessing that this person exists in the world, and the world just needs more of her. Now, when we were on this project, we were talking about the subject of pleasure and sexual anatomy. At the time, when I first mentioned the stimulation of the cervix, she sort of just paused the meeting and was like, why would you ever do that? This seems to only have run the risk of creating infection. There is no real reason why you would do this. Forget about just pleasure. Why would you go and do this? There was not an understanding. There was no real kind of deeper conversation around it. I explained, but it wasn't until maybe 5, 6 years later, our life brings us together for another project. And at this time, she said, you had spoken about this and had mentioned the desire to experience a hands-on intravaginal session. She was like, I'm actually curious to hear what it is that this is that you're speaking about. So we then engage in the session, and I take her through how to work with her own pelvic floor, how to breathe, how to move. Everything I'm doing, I'm explaining at the same time, and having her track through her incredible scientific medical mind all of the inner workings of her anatomy. And she starts to have a massive release, starts to release fluids, starts to feel sensations that were tremendously powerful. It's causing her to have these involuntary shakes and tremors of pleasure, and just a very powerful experience. So the next day we speak, and she says, I went to bed that night and I touched an area where I had a C-section 20 some odd years ago after my first child. It was about an inch above and an inch below that scar tissue. And I had never felt it since that operation. It had been numb, no sensation. And after the session, when I had gone to bed, laying there in bed alone, touching this, I could feel it. And I didn't talk about this at all, or mention it, or speak about it to anybody. But now, after I woke up and then touched it again, I couldn't believe that the sensation was still there. And now that it's later in the day and the sensation is still there and I can feel this part of my body, I am wanting to tell someone about it. So I am telling you that I have felt this part of myself that I have not felt for years. I then also said, well, what about the experience during? She said, well, this is also incredible. With all the knowledge that I have accumulated over the years of being a very active professional, of working and having a deep understanding of the anatomy, the inner workings of this mystery that is us women, I had no clue that the body could experience these type of sensations. I had no clue that the body could experience these sensations from the cervix and through the womb and through the heart and through the entire body. And she said that when she started to feel this sensation, it was something that she just desired to have more of, as opposed to feeling just a kind of like with the clitoral orgasm, which is oh, I'm done. Okay, let's stop. I go into the refractory period. I need to just wait. And then maybe in a week or so, then I would start to want to become sexually active again. Now, I can't wait to go and meet up with this lover that I have and actually engage in sex, because this now is something that is alive and awake inside me. And she also said that it wasn't a feeling of neediness. She also felt calm and collected in herself. I commented on the fact that her posture had changed. She was sitting and walking through and embodying the space very differently. There was a different tonality in her voice that had this depth and richness to it. And the feel of being around her, it was as if there was this sort of warm glow emanating from her. And so when she spoke to me about this, and we were in each other's presence, and I gave her these reflections, she had just said that she never knew that this was possible and that she was the one that could bring this gift out, and now felt the ability to be able to share that with others. She was deeply grateful for the fact that she did not need me in order to experience this herself. And that morning, when she had been on her own in her bed and had touched inside, she felt such an amount of lubrication. She felt an engorgement of her tissues that had lasted through the night, and she felt so good, so at home in her body, and she wasn't stuck in any looping thoughts, any odd feelings. She just simply felt free. Free to be herself, free to be in the world and inhabit her own body.